What happens if NASA and SpaceX stop working together? As part of NASA's Artemis program, astronauts will be sent to explore more of the moon, and the agency has chosen SpaceX to continue the construction of the first commercial human lander, which will safely transport the next 2 American astronauts to the surface of the moon. One of those astronauts will have to go down in history as the first woman to walk on the moon. The Artemis program also aims to land the first person of color on the moon's surface. What NASA is planning to do? What is Elon's plan? Is NASA planning to send humans into space? In this video, we'll look at how the JWST can use methane to locate alien life. So keep watching to the very end. Hello everyone! Welcome to Space Discoveries. Subscribe to the channel for every single detail about the discoveries and the vastness of the space. Also, do not forget to hit that bell icon for new updates. Having said that, let's get started. SpaceX will attempt to launch its Crew Dragon spaceship for the very first time on Saturday morning, marking the largest stage in a 13-year partnership between NASA and the California Rocket Company. Both parties have benefited from the friendship. SpaceX was able to speed construction of its global Falcon 9 rocket from a single-engine booster thanks to NASA funding. Perhaps more crucially, continued financing for cargo flights to the station, 16 have flown so far, has allowed the Falcon 9 rocket to be improved, landings practiced, and reusable rocketry to become a reality. Now that crewed flights are on the horizon, SpaceX might become the first commercial corporation to launch humans into space. NASA, for its part, has benefited greatly. SpaceX has routinely provided services to NASA at a lower cost than competitors, and substantially less than it would have cost NASA to establish such capabilities on its own, for cargo, crew, and science investigations. But it wasn't always straightforward. NASA is a big, bureaucratic corporation that likes to do things its the way. They have the funds and the experience in spaceflight to advise general contractors on how things are supposed to work. SpaceX, on the other hand, has a more futuristic Silicon Valley ethos, free of convention and past experience. Responding to one of Elon Musk's questions with the phrase, "as that's how things are almost always done," is a surefire way to enrage him. Here's one illustration of how cultures differ. Failure is not an option. A memoir by NASA's iconic flight director, Gene Kranz, refers to his time at the command center from the Mercury operations to the Apollo program. That approach aided Kranz and his team of specialists at Johnson Space Center in bringing the Apollo 13 crew home safely. The term "defeat is not an option" is becoming synonymous with the agency. Even until his first NASA contract, Musk expressed his dislike for this attitude in a 2005 interview for Fast Company. At NASA, there's a foolish concept that failure isn't an option, he remarked. Failure is a possibility here. You really aren't innovating enough if things aren't failing. Nonetheless, as NASA and SpaceX collaborate on commercial crews, the civilizations have come together to some level. Failure is not an option in this circumstance, because NASA's primary purpose is to safely transport humans to and from the International Space Station. We're taking some really hazardous steps, Justin Meyer remarked. The designs and complexity of what we have to do, which involves loading humans onto rockets with millions of pounds of thrust and launching them into space to link to a space station, are not straightforward. We're all attempting to solve the same physical ailments, and it's always interesting to work with a new colleague who approaches the problem in a different way. They don't come from the same history like us, and they don't approach innovation in the same way that we do. NASA has been able to help SpaceX by bringing some of its operating experience, as well as a focus on safety, to the method of constructing a commercial spaceship for humans to fly in. They keep us honest. SpaceX Vice President of Build and Flight Reliability, Hans Königsmann, stated at a press briefing before the Crew Dragon vehicle's flight on Saturday morning. "I'd like to say that we have productive conflicts and debates on how to do that right on occasion." However, he feels that the end product is the safest capsule achievable. Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, 2 NASA astronauts, will embark on the first crewed Dragon voyage later this year or early in 2020. They've been at the front of the pack, traveling to SpaceX's headquarters in Hawthorne, California, practically weekly to represent NASA. Hurley acknowledged that there have been difficulties in the interview. Were there any hiccups along the way? Sure. Is there still a cultural divide? Certainly, he stated. However, it's been incredible to see both organizations, in a sense, adapt to one another, and the total of the parts ultimately ended up being incredibly effective. 4 astronauts will be launched aboard the Orion spacecraft by NASA's powerful Space Launch System rocket for a multi-day trek to lunar orbit. 2 members of the crew will then switch to the SpaceX Human Landing System, HLS, for the final stretch of their voyage to the Moon's surface. They will board the rover for their brief journey back to orbit after spending about a week investigating the surface, where they will meet up with Orion and their teammates before returning to Earth. The entire award value of the firm fixed price, a milestone-based contract, is $2.89 billion. With this award, NASA and our collaborators will accomplish the first crewed demonstration trip to the Moon's surface in the 21st century, said Kathy Lueders, NASA's Associate Secretary for Human Explorations and Operations Mission Directorate. This vital milestone puts humanity on a road to long-term lunar exploration while keeping our sights on missions more into the planetary system, like Mars. During the HLS base period of performance, SpaceX worked closely with NASA specialists to inform its lander design and guarantee it met NASA's performance requirements and manned space standards. These agreed-upon standards cover architectural, security, healthcare, and medical technological fields, and are a vital element for safety systems. Lisa Watson-Morgan, program manager for HLS at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, remarked, "This is an interesting time for NASA, and especially the Artemis team. We established that it is feasible to do the apparently impossible, land people on the Moon during the Apollo program. We will return American explorers to the Moon's surface once more, this time to explore new places for longer lengths of time, by taking a coordinated approach in working with industry and harnessing NASA's established technological skills and capabilities." The HLS Starship, which is planned to land on the Moon, relies on SpaceX's proven Raptor engines and Falcon and Dragon vehicle flight experience. A roomy cabin and 2 airlocks for spacemen and moonwalks are included in the Starship. The Starship design is intended to develop into a reusable space launch and landing system for missions to the Moon, Mars, and other planets. Parallel to completing the Appendix H award, NASA plans to launch a competitive procurement for long-term manned space lunar surface transportation services, which will allow humans to visit the lunar surface on a regular basis, utilizing the gateway after the initial crewed demonstration trip. NASA and its commercial and foreign allies are returning to the Moon with NASA's Space Launch System rockets, Orion spaceship, HLS, and the Gateway Lunar Colony for scientific discovery, economic rewards, and inspiration for a new generation. Throughout the Artemis program, the organization will fine-tune accurate landing technologies to create new mobility capabilities in collaboration with its partners to facilitate the exploration of alternative Moon regions. On the surface, the organization has suggested constructing a new habitation and rovers, as well as trying out new power sources and other initiatives. These and other breakthroughs made possible by the Artemis program will guarantee that NASA and its partners are prepared for the next big step in human exploration, the exploration of Mars. Will NASA succeed in its attempt? Will Elon create a mark in space exploration? When NASA is going to execute it? Having said that, that's it for now. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to press that thumbs up button and also that hot red subscribe button as well. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace.